apple pies today because our neighbour has kindly given us some of his apples from his tree. Here we have 1.5 kilograms of apples. If you want to only make one apple pie, remember to halve these ingredients. These are dessert apples, so they're extra sweet, but they're not cooking apples, so they might get a little bit more mushy when we've cooked them, but it'll taste just as good. What I like to put into my apple pies are raisins and cinnamon. So we're going to put 2 spoonfuls of cinnamon in, well, 1 per apple pie, and I've got 80 grams of raisins, I've got 80 grams of sugar, I have 1 lemon, and I have 450 grams of plain flour in this big bowl, along with 115 grams of butter and 115 grams of lard. Now I've cut it up into 10 little pieces and put it into the bowl, because what we're going to do now is we're just going to take those little pieces and we're going to massage it, or at least that's what I like to call massaging it, into the flour. So you take a piece of butter and you get some flour, and then you rub gently and let the flour fall back into the mixture, and eventually the butter goes into the mixture, warms up and ends up into the mixture. Okay, so I have started to make my pastry. So if you come and have a look at this, this is our pastry mix, and I have gotten it all down and got it into the mix so that it looks like breadcrumbs. Okay, and to those who are blind, it feels like soft breadcrumbs, like, you know, like you're taking the soft part of bread and turned it into really tiny clumps, or not clumps, sorry, that's a bit big, tiny little breadcrumbs, right, into tiny crumbs. However, the way in which you know that it's fully ready is that you can't feel any lard or any butter or any big chunks of lard or butter at all in the mix, okay, not one bit, right. So now for my next step into making my pastry, I am going to take some water and I am going to mix this water in. It is nice, fresh, cold water, and I'm going to mix it in to my flour and butter and lard mix so that I can make a ball out of it and then put that ball in the fridge for a while. So whilst our pastry is resting in the fridge, I thought I would get on and sort out my raisins. So here are my raisins. I have taken the lemon and I have grated it so the lemon zest is in there, and then I've put the juice of the lemon in with my raisins. Now this is a quick life hack, because you could always have your raisins fully done overnight in the lemon juice and the lemon zest and just put them overnight to plump up, but I tend to put them in the microwave on a medium heat for about 1 minute in order to soak up all of that lemon juice and plump up really nicely. The other great aspect of this is that when you cut up your apples, so I'm trying to take one out of the pile and attempt to roll. Okay, when you cut up your apples, you'll find that immediately they start to turn this brown colour. Now, if I mix the lemon, raisin mix with my cut up apples, that tends to stop this process. So I'm now going to put my raisins in the microwave. See? So now for my next step. I have greased up both baking trays for my apple pies with some lard all the way around the corners and all the way around the roundiness. Now, I am going to take a mixture of sugar and plain flour, and I'm going to try and half it, you guys. This is going to be quite difficult because I'm going to be doing this by weight. So I'm going to knock it into the middle. I think that's about half, and then I'm going to knock that into the middle there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this baking tray around, knocking all of the flour and sugar all the way around this baking tray. so that it gets nicely covered in flour and sugar. Now this is really hard, guys, because I'm sure I'll get it all over, because I have to get it all over the sides as well, and I'm sure that I'll just get it all over the place. But, do you know, Mum, I didn't even think to do that. That was really daft of me. There we go.
So just give it a tap and it should get the excess off.
There we
Tip it up so it comes out.
There we go. I'm going to do the same thing with this one. Just get it round. Give it a bit of a light shake. In the hope of getting it all the way round. And then, again, put the tray underneath so that all the excess can fall into the other tray. And then the sugar and the flour sticks to the lard. You've got a nice prepared baking tray.
And we'll just get rid of the excess into the sink, okay?
Yeah, there we go. There's some of the excess. So, is it filming?
Yes.
So here is our pastry. I've taken it out of the fridge and I'm just flattening it against a flour covered base. Now, in order to get it cooked nice and even, it's always a good idea to try and make sure that you spread your pastry nice and evenly. So I'm starting from the middle and then I'm pushing outward and inward. You don't have to do this particularly hard. Now this is rather difficult for me because I am going to need a bit of side support with this. So I'm hoping, well, I'm not hoping. My mum is going to help me with this a little bit, because I need to get the whole of the tray covered in at the bottom with this pastry. And I'm just turning it round bit by bit to try and make it more of an even distribution, an even circle of pastry. There we go. And then I'm going to just roll that round. Crisscrossy bits.
So I know.
Yes, please, Mum.
Just got to get that circle big enough.
Yeah, to get all
to go
the
into
way
the pan.
into the pan.
Into the pie dish.
In order to measure it, I tend to put my arm over the pie dish like this. You can see that. And kind of measure over my pastry.
It's
still a little bit,
bigger.
yeah, a little bit wider. There we go.
Rather difficult this. Trying to get it up into the pan. If I lift this up, you put the pan dish underneath now.
There we go. Right against the sides. It's always good if you can have a little bit of side to your pastry, because then you can quite easily tuck it into the bottom gently and tuck it into the edges of your pie dish nice and gently and evenly. You don't want to break the pastry when you're doing this. You want it to still hold the yummy, liquidy, gooey yumminess of the apple and the raisins. And I think that's into the corners. What do you think, Mum?
We just need to stretch it a little bit so that it comes up at this side where it's a little bit low at the moment.
Yeah.
Just where my fingers are. That's it. And we can leave it uneven because we can leave it a bit messy until we put the top on.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to do this particularly hard, guys. And if you fail the first time, don't be afraid to try it over and over again. Plus, you can buy these types of things ready-made in the shops if you really want to.
So there's one. We just need to do the other one now then.
There you go. So here are my raisins, fully done, out of the microwave and everything. Now I have decided, in order to get an even distribution throughout my pies, I'm just going to add my cinnamon to my raisins. Then I'm going to peel all my apples and then I'm going to cut them up and put them into this big bowl here. Okay, so 2 of these, 1, and
Bit too much?
a bit too much there.
That'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. 2. Just going to mix that up. Oh, shucks. Oh. Oh well. At least I know I'm clean. We've got plenty of it. Right, there we go. So, the apples. So, as you can see, I am now filling in my pie with the apple. I'm taking the fat side of my apple and I'm putting them in one direction all the way around, so I've got a ring of apples that goes all the way to the centre. And then I'm going to add some of my raisins on top. Now I have mixed all of the apples that I've cut and I've peeled into quite large chunks, thicker than I would normally cut them, because they are going to go a little bit mushy. And then I am just arranging them inside my pie. Hoping that I'm going to get this right, but hey, I've got side support if I need some assistance. There we go. I think I'm going to arrange some of them on top of the other. One's a bit too large, so I'm going to go with this one. Right, Mum, now I'm going to... So as you can see, hopefully, I have filled my pastry cases all the way up to the brim. Now I've kind of arranged them so that the fatter side can hold up the lid of my pies. I've also added the tiniest bit of sugar. I haven't actually added as much sugar as I said that you needed. Now the reason being is because I have tasted my apples before I've put them in and they are incredibly sweet. And I don't really like massively sweet things, so I thought I'd add a little bit of sugar but not a lot of sugar. It's always good to taste things that you're using when you bake things and when you're cooking things, because that helps you decide how much of one or other ingredient you're actually wanting. So now all we have to do is put on the pastry tops, create 2 pastry tops, which is exactly the same way as we do the bottoms, only we put it on top and then I'll show you them when they are fully cooked, okay? So we have the lid on, I have pinched all the way around them and we've cut off the edges, and with the edges we've decided to make this really nice little leaf decoration. And all I'm going to do with that is I'm going to find the other 2 leaves that I've put on already and I'm going to just push that the tiniest bit into the middle so that it stays where it is. Then I'm going to dust this, also called drench this, in the tiniest little bit of sugar. I think this is the sugar, isn't it, Mum?
Yeah, I'd use your fingers.
Good idea, actually, because
Otherwise you'll get too much.
we're only looking for the tiniest bit, because it's already rather sweet. Now, I am going to put both of these pies in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius. They should cook in about 40 minutes, but in the first 10 minutes, as the pastry itself starts to cook, I am going to turn the heat down just the tiniest bit, okay? Now I'm going to do the second one. And here is our finished product. our beautiful apple pies. Now, I'm sorry guys, but I had to have some apple pie with ice cream after making all of that, and I can't wait to have apple pie again tonight. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that you like, you share, and you subscribe. Thanks for watching.